Hey, welcome back to Adam's Brick Reviews. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to build the large vehicle set with figure from the Dollar Tree. This is a $5 set. It is the Make It Blocks brand, which is obviously a Lego knockoff. This one is 212 pieces, and it's clear that you viewers hate me since now I'm building this one. But let's get started. As with all of my other instructional videos, I'm going to be putting the parts on the screen only for a couple seconds, and then I will be moving on to the actual build. So here are the parts for step 1. And let's go ahead and get started building. First thing, you're going to want to take your 4x6 plate. You will want to take, to make sure everything lines up easily, take your 2x4 plate, and you're going to put the bottom row here on the last row up, so it will look like that. And then you're going to put your L's next to it in that direction so that it sticks out there on both sides. And then directly in front of the L, so on the very edge, you are going to want your 1x2 on both sides. Okay, that's it for step 1. Let's move on to step 2. Okay, here are the parts for step 2. Let's go ahead and build. First, you're going to want to take one of these pieces that have the studs there and there. And then on this side, you're going to do 2 of these wider wedges. And you want the wide side, so the side right here, to face these. So they're going to go just like this. And you're going to do those 2 wide. And you're going to do that on both of that piece. Just like so. And then these are going to hook onto these, and it's going to go right between the little L shape and that one on both sides, giving you that all the way across. Then you're going to put the 1x2 between them, just like that. Now, as with other Dollar Tree sets, it doesn't want to stay together, at least not yet. Hopefully it'll do better towards the end. And then on the ends here, you are going to put your little 1x1 smooth piece there and there. So you have this at the end of step 2. Let's go ahead and move on to step 3. Okay, here are the parts for step 3. Let's go ahead and build. This should be a fairly easy one. So you're going to hold your 4x6 right here. Take your long ones, and they're going to go down to the 3rd spot on both sides. Just like that. And then they're going to attach right behind, or right in front of, I guess, the 1x2s that were there. So now you have that. Let's move on to step 4. Okay, here are the parts for step 4. Let's go ahead and build. So it looks like we're going to be building on this side of it. And let's go ahead and put the 2x6 just on the front, just in front of the long ones we had put on. And then on the bottom of that, we're going to add these pieces here. So we want it to slant towards the outside. Actually, this one they marked with an R. I don't know if they all are or not. Yeah, that one's marked with an L, so that's convenient. And these are going to hook on here, sticking out to the side by one, just like that. And then like that. And then between them, you're going to be putting these, so the studs will hold it up here, and you'll have this smooth edge facing out. So at the end of step 4, you have this very flimsy frame. Let's move on to step 5. Okay, here are the parts for step 5. Let's go ahead and build. So to start with, let's take the 1x6, and we're going to put it right across these 6 studs here. Preferably without everything falling apart. There we go. And then take your plates, which are 6x8. 2, 4, 6, yeah, 6x8. And you're going to start right behind that, and just connect it to anything that's there. And then right behind that, do your other one. So now your base is at least a little sturdier. And let's move on to step 6. Okay, here are the parts for step 6, and we're going to want to do this little box first. So it looks like we're going to want to take this piece that has the holes in the front, studs on the top, and we're going to take 2 of these pieces and put them under them. And we want these studs to face the same way as these studs, so they're going to go just like that. And you're going to do that twice, like one on each side. And then in front of that, you're going to be placing this. It looks like one should stick out on each side of it. So the 2x6 with one sticking out on either side. The top row of this, we'll get these little white wedges with the wide part facing up, like that, all the way across. And in the bottom, we'll get this long, smooth piece. Some of these are hard to snap on. And then this is going to hook to the part over here, just across these 4 here. Nope, it's going to hook here. So it's going to hook on this first set of white, just like that. So that's what this side will look like now. And let's move on to step 7. Okay, here are the parts for step 7. So just like before, we're going to want to build the little boxes first. So this first box, we're going to want to take one of these pieces here. And then we're going to want to put one of the 2x2s just on top of it, facing this way, so there's excess hanging off on that side. You want one of the 1x2s on top of that, still just on this side here. So we're building on it this second. And then this. So one of these little curved down pieces. I'll actually connect all those together, just like that. Okay, the other box, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to have the overhang on the other side. So that's going to be like that. The 1x2 on top of that. And then that. Now that those boxes are built, we can actually put stuff on the car. So we're going to be building on the back side here. So first we're going to want to take these things we just built and put them on the sides like this. So the last one we just built went here, the other one went here. And on top of these, we are going to put other stuff up. So we have this here, which is the 2x4. That is going to go in the center, just like this. So only that part actually hooks on. And then on each side of those, we're going to be putting one of these with the little bevel facing like out from it. So it's going to go like that. And yes, it only holds on by one stud. And we're going to do that on both sides, just like that. So now that's done. That was step 7. Let's go on to step 8. Okay, here are the parts for step 8. So to start with, let's take these 1x4s, and we're going to put them right against here. So right there on both sides. On top of that last peg, we are going to put one of these 1x1 tall squares. And it's just going to go just on top of the back peg on those 1x4s, just like that. Then along here on both sides, we're going to be putting 4 of these pieces with the overhang. So you're just going to do it just like that. 4 of them, and then 4 of them. And then directly in front of those, you're going to put your other 1x4s. Just like that. This is becoming much bigger than I thought this build would be. Let's go ahead. That was it for step 8. Let's go ahead and move on to step 9. Okay, here are our parts for step 9. We are going to, again, do what's in the little box first. It looks like this time we're doing it 4 times. Okay, so we're going to take one of these 1x2s, and on top of that, we're going to put one of these 1x1s on each side. Just like that. And then on top of that, we're going to put another 1x2. We're going to do this 4 times. If you hear the tornado siren going off, it is just a test. We test it the first Monday of every month here, and right now is the first Monday of January. Don't worry, I'm not in danger. Okay, now that those boxes are done, we can actually attach stuff. So first, right next to this one that we put the tall one on, we're going to put that, which is the wheel well piece. We're going to do that on both sides, just like that. Next to that, we're going to put the pieces we just made. So it'll be like that. And then the other 2 we made are actually going to go almost to the front. They're actually going to go right here, crossing between the first one of these pieces and that. So it's going to go right there. And like most things on the car builds, it's going to be the same on both sides. Okay, that's it for step 9. Let's move on to step 10. Okay, here are the pieces for step 10. If we look at the little box, it's just saying to put the steering wheel in the steering column, just like that. And now we'll attach stuff. So this is actually going to go right next to the first of these squares. So there should be, or the back one of these squares, I should say. So there's these 2 nubs here. It's going to go right here. So there should be 4 whites in front of it here, and then the black. These right here are going to go across this. So there's going to be this gap under it, and not tons of support, just like most Dollar Tree builds. But let's see what we can do here. There we go. And then these ones are going to go on top back here, so just like this. So the 2x4s go right here, just like so. That's it for step 10. Let's move on to step 11. Okay, here are the parts for step 11. First thing we're going to want to do, take your 2x4s and put them right on top of those last 2x4s we did, above where the wheels will be. So there and there. Then you're going to be putting these right above these ones. So it's going to go 4 on each side, just like those. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is filling in this gap from the outside. So now your sides look like that. Making sure everything's snapped down tight, which is hard to do when there's no support under that long beam. There we go. Okay, so that is it for step 11. Let's move on to step 12. Okay, here are the parts for step 12. Let's go ahead and start building. First, in the little box, you're going to take your 1x8 with the studs and your 1x8 smooth, and you're going to just kind of put them right on top of each other so it looks like that. And then we are actually going to be building on this side of the car at first. Not that I really think it matters. And along the top, you're going to put the one you just put together. Maybe. I'm breaking it. I was going to cut this. I was thinking about cutting this, but I'm going to say right now I'm not going to because I want everyone to see how much of a struggle sometimes these Dollar Tree ones are. There we go. So on the top part, you get that. Then on these bottom ones, you're going to get this piece here with the curve going down. Give it some detail. Yep. Okay. There we go. All fixed. Oh, except for this. I knocked this off, which was right there. There we go. That's it for step 12. Let's move on to step 13. Okay, here are my parts for step 13. They didn't put it in the box this time to attach these together, so I'm not going to do that at first. I'm just going to attach them separately. Maybe it'll make it easier, because now I'll have more flexibility with my top. But your 1x8 will go along the top. Nope, didn't make it any easier. Let's break the whole side off. There we go. Now I'll put everything back on again because I broke it all off. Okay, now that 1x8's there, I'm going to try to put the smooth one on top of it. That worked easy. Okay, under it we're going to put these ones again with the curve going down. Just like that. And then we're going to put this right here in the next open spot moving forward on both sides. And then this single stud tall one directly in front of that. Just like that. So that's it for step 13. Let's move on to step 14. Okay, here are the parts for step 14. This is a very simple step. Take your 2x6 here. Take your 1x4 with these front pegs here, just like that. And hook these into the top of these ones. And then take your one that's too wide and put it right next to it. So you end up with that. That's it for step 14. Let's move on to step 15. Okay, here are the parts for step 15. Let's tackle these boxes first. So the first box, you're going to take one of these pieces here and one of these pieces here and hook that into it so it kind of sticks off just like that. The other one, same thing, but the opposite direction. So it'll stick off that way, just like that. Then we're going to actually use this to hold it onto this piece here on both sides, just like that. And then you're going to take this black smooth piece and put it right across the front bottom there. So you end up with this after step 15. Let's move on to step 16. Okay, here are the parts for step 16. Let's go ahead and build. To start with, take your little 1 square wedges, and we're going to hook them on each side with the taller side facing in like this. And be careful because the piece you're hooking it to is barely held on. You're going to do that on both sides. Just like that. And then between them, right next to it, you're going to put the little orange clear piece, which I assume is indicating lights. And then the tall wedge between those with the thicker side facing up. So you get just like that. And then you are going to take your little angled one here. And this first stud is going to go right there, so it's going to hold these pieces together. Might have actually been easier to do those first, but I didn't. And we're going to do that on both sides, with this black one right between them, just like that. And that's what you end up with after step 16. Let's move on to 17. Okay, for step 17, we are just taking the piece we just built and attaching it to the car. And how we're going to do that is these spots right here are going to hook right here, and then these bottom two are going to hook on those two. So it's going to sit right here and snap down all the way across. And that is what we have after step 17. Let's move on to step 18. Okay, here are the parts for step 18. Let's go ahead and get those put on. To start with, I'm going to take the little wedge-shaped ones here with a little angle, and it's going to angle in, and it's really just going to go right on top of this white piece that matches it. So let's do that on both sides. If it wants to go on, there we go. Then you're going to take your 2x3 black piece, and two of the studs are going to go there, and one's going to kind of hang over inside the car. And you'll do two of those next to each other, and then over these wheel wells, you'll do the 2x4 white, just like that. Okay, that's it for step 18. Let's move on to step 19. Okay, here are the parts for step 19. Let's go ahead and build. First, the 1x6 is going to go across here. So the first stud on either side will be on this like clear black piece, and the other four are going to be on the middle black pieces. And directly behind that, you're going to take your 4x8, 4x8, and put it across here, just like that. That's it for step 19. Let's move on to step 20. Okay, here are the parts for step 20. Let's go ahead and get building. To start with, take your wider one of these pieces, and it's going to go right here, just like that. So it's going to cross between the angled piece and the straight piece, and just hook down like that. Take the short one and put it right next to it, just like that. Then you're going to take these pieces, so the other like wedge shape, and it's going to go right here, connecting those two pieces, and then right next to it, and then the same on the other side. But don't throw it halfway across the room first. So it'll connect the orange piece with the white piece, and then go right next to that one, just like that. And then directly behind those, you're going to have the 1x4, if it'll focus right there. 1x4 will go right here on both sides. So that's it for step 20. Let's move on to step 21. Okay, here are the parts for step 21. And just to be clear on what these are these ones with this little ridged section here. And you're going to put these on right here, 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 and here. So they're going to be on where the face plates were. And you're going to have the ridge facing away from the inside. So it's going to go just like that. And we're going to do 4 on each side. Just like that. Okay, that's it for 21. Move on to 22. Okay, here are the parts for step 22. And it looks like what we're going to want to do is first, we're going to take the flat one here, and it's going to go not on the first raised ones, but right behind them. So right there. So this line is still open. Directly behind that, you're going to do these wider flat ones, which are a 2x4 for the area they take up, and you're going to do those side by side. And then directly in the middle behind them, you're going to do the 1x2 with the studs, and on either side of that, you're going to do the 1x2 flat. Just like that. There we go. That was step 22. Let's move on to step 23. Okay, here are the parts for step 23. Let's go ahead and tackle these boxes first. So the first one, we're going to take one of these little oval shapes, one of these black corners, and we're going to hook it on this way. So that one I'm holding it here, the flat side is up there. Then we're going to take the other one and put it on the other direction. So the flat side is down. And then we're going to set that aside and do the other one where we want flat side down on your left and up on your right. And now we can attach stuff. So this one we just made, just so we don't get confused, is going to hook onto this square. And then the other one will hook on the other square, like the other side right there. And then on the front, we're going to be placing all these doodads here. So starting in towards the middle, it'll line up with this line here. We're going to put one of these wide curved ones. Then right next to it, we'll do another. Then on either side, we want it curving in like this. So we'll do the angled one, and then the opposite angle right next to that. And then right behind those, or next to those, I guess, back a spot, we'll do another of the same angle. Just giving it a nice curvature towards the middle here for aerodynamics. But that's it for step 23. Let's move on to step 24. Okay, here are the parts for step 24. It is very hard to see what we're doing here, but first we're going to go ahead and do the box here. So we're going to take this long one, which is 2 by 6, I think. If it'll focus, there we go. Yeah, 2 by 6. You're going to take the 1 by 3s and hook it on like this. Both sides. And then another 1 by 3 directly under it, just like that. And like that. So you end up with this here. And from the looks of it, this should butt right up against that and snap on here. And then directly in front of that on each side, you're going to do the tall 1 by 4s. Just like that. Which are supposed to probably be the windows because it's an SUV, and SUVs always have really tinted windows, including mine. Okay, that's it for 24. Let's move on to 25. Okay, here are the parts for 25. We are going to start with these here. And on either end, you're going to pop that on the very end, just like that. Is it supposed to hang over like that? Nope, I must have done something wrong. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I see what I did wrong in the last step, so let's take this back one off and actually just move it to here. So they should actually have the one gap there. So that's what I did wrong. Now we can continue. So these are the parts for step 25. We're going to put this right here. So it looks like that. And we're going to do that on both sides. Just like that. And then between them is going to be these ones here, the curved black ones that you can see through. It's going to go right there and right here. Just like that. And now we still have these pieces, which look like they are going to go here. So the L is going to go right on the edge here, hanging over into it. And then the same on the other side. So they look like that. And then right in front of those, looks like it's going to get the other 2 by 6 clear piece. So now there's this hole here, which I'm not sure if we're doing something with. And these L's are here. So that's it for 25. Let's move on to 26. And these are all the parts for 26. So what we're going to do is the windshield will actually snap on the front here. You're going to take the 2 little 1 by 1 clear blacks, and they're going to go just on the square right here. Right behind the end of the windshield. On both sides. And there we are. That's it for 26. Let's move on to 27. Okay, here are my parts for step 27. We are so close to the end. Let's see what we do here. It looks like, to start, we're going to have this square here. Really don't like that. There's nothing supporting underneath it at all. Directly behind it, we're going to have this more rectangular one. Directly behind that, we're going to have this piece all the way across. And then up the sides, we're going to have the other ones. So we just built the roof. And that is it for step 27. Let's move on to step 28. I just realized that all the way back on step 20, I forgot to use these 2 pieces. So if you were following along and you also missed those 2 pieces, they go on this open square right here with the flat toward the car and toward the wedge. And that's a both sides thing. Sorry about that. Easy fix though. At least they're on the outside. Okay, these are the parts for step 28. So to start with, we're going to want to flip the car over. And we're going to take the 2 by 3s, and they're going to hold the sides together here. They're going to go right here on both sides. So not all the way to the front, but just one behind. And then you're going to take these pieces and put them directly under all of the wheel wells. So just there and here for the front. And then there. And there for the back, so that they're all right with the wheels. Okay, that is it for step 28. Let's move on to step 29. Okay, here are the parts for step 29. If we follow the box, we're going to see we just shove our rims in the tires. 4 of those, obviously, because it's a vehicle. And then we're going to pop them onto the axles we had just installed previously. And they should only actually go on one way, because the other way should be too deep for it to actually click into. So just like that. They don't turn the best, but they're on. And there is the car. That was it for step 29. And now there's one last thing to do, and that is to assemble the figure that came with it. There are all the parts to the figure. The figures with these sets are maybe slightly better than the normal Dollar Tree minifigs, but not much. They're definitely different from the regular ones, though. So we'll do that. And the head is actually on a ball, so it'll go all sorts of directions. The hair is probably not going to be easy to put on because the other one wasn't. Yeah, good enough. Hair's on. Arms will pop in. I mean, these minifigs are, they're not minifigs. Minifigs are a Lego thing only. But these knockoff minifigs are better than a lot of them that I've seen, but still nowhere near the quality of an actual Lego one. But there's the build. If this video helped you at all, make sure you tap that like button, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss new content. And as always, have a great day.